Se'u et rosh kol adat b'nei Yisrael, lift up the heads of the entire assembly of the children of Israel. These are the opening words of Sefer Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. But we should not be fooled by its English name. This is not just a book of numerical data. It is a book of visibility, of counting, yes, but not simply of tallying. The Torah commands Moshe to lift up each person's head, to see each person in their distinctiveness. Counting here is an act of inclusion, of recognition, of love. And yet, this counting stands in tension with a very different reality, a phenomena that has marked Jewish history for centuries, erasure. I was thinking about this tension, the power of being counted and the pain of being erased during my family's recent trip to Lisbon last week. As I discovered during COVID, doing some genealogical research, my family traces its lineage through the Benevenisti family, one of the great rabbinic and communal dynasties of Iberian Jewry. Through their descendants, the Epstein line, I carry their story, a story that once flourished in Spain and in Portugal, and then was uprooted, counted once, then almost erased. In Lisbon, you can walk through the Alfama district and feel the ghost of Jewish life that once was. You see the tiny stone where a synagogue may have stood, now part of a church wall. You visit the Share Tikva synagogue, the only active synagogue in Lisbon as we did on Shabbat, and marvel at the perseverance of a community that survived Inquisition and silence. You meet descendants of Anusism, crypto-Jews, reclaiming their Jewish identity 5 centuries later. In 1492, Jews were expelled from Spain. In 1496, from Portugal. Many of the Benevenisti family fled. Others converted under duress. Their names, once counted among the leaders of Jewish Europe, disappeared into the pages of history. They were erased. But we are still here. Midrash Tanchuma teaches, Kevan sheshocheach adam et avaro, when a person forgets their past, ein lo atid, they have no future. To remember is to resist erasure. To count ourselves and our stories is an act of spiritual defiance. And just last week, 56,000 Jews and allies walked through the streets of the city of Toronto. 56,000. It may not have made the front page of every newspaper, but let us pause and hold the magnitude of that moment. This is a city of 200,000 Jews. New York's Israel Day parade drew only 50,000 people in a metro area nearly 6 times the size of ours. Toronto showed up, we walked, we sang, we stood tall, we were counted. It was a moment of reversal, of visibility in an era that often seeks to erase us. For over 600 days, anti-Zionism has morphed into a new wave of anti-Semitism. In too many arenas, campuses, streets, even city halls, they have become places where Jews are made to feel unsafe, unwelcome, and uncounted. The chants, the slogans, the graffiti, they don't just challenge Israeli policy, they challenged our very right to exist, to be seen as a people with a past, a future, a story that matters. And last week, the violence went from rhetoric to murder. 2 young professionals, Yaron Leshinsky and Sarah Milgram, were gunned down outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Yaron, an Israeli diplomat, had purchased an engagement ring. He planned to propose to Sarah in Jerusalem this week. Sarah, 26 years old, was a proud Jewish woman from Kansas, devoted to cultural diplomacy. They were at a cultural event. They were murdered simply for being Jewish. This was not an isolated act. This was the fruit of a society in which hate speech has become normalized, and Jewish lives once again feel expendable, erased. But we are here, this and every Shabbat, to say otherwise. We are here to say their names. We're here to remember them, to count them. And while we confront hatred from without, we must also be mindful to confront hatred and moral failure from within. This past Yom Yerushalayim, a day meant to celebrate the reunification of Jerusalem, our eternal capital, was desecrated by Jewish extremists. Many of them, affiliated with the fringes of the National Religious Party, marched through the Muslim quarter of Jerusalem, shouting and spitting at Arab residents, wielding the Israeli flag like a weapon. As a people who have experienced otherness in Spain and Portugal and across the centuries, we should know better. To be a Jew is to remember what it is to be vulnerable. The Torah commands us 36 times to love the stranger because we were strangers. To use Jewish power to intimidate or dehumanize others is not Judaism. It is a betrayal of Judaism. Rabbi Daniel Hartman, in Putting God Second, warns, when one believes they are serving a holy cause, they may cease to see those outside their cause as human. Judaism demands better of us. It demands that we remember, that we count ethically, that we lift up the heads of those that are not only like us, but of all who dwell among us. And this morning, we rejoice with two young cousins who are becoming B'nai Mitzvah, Asher and Bobby, who stood together on this bima not only as family, but as links in a very long chain. You are being counted today, not just as individuals, but as heirs to a legacy that refuses to be erased. Your great-grandparents may have fled. Your ancestors may have hidden, but today you stand openly, joyfully, proudly Jewish. You chant from the Torah, the same scroll Moshe used to count the Israelites Bamidbar in the wilderness. You are a part of that people, and therefore you are a part of our hope for a better future. You remind us that every generation has its moment in which it is called upon to stand up and be counted. In the wilderness, in Lisbon, in Toronto, on this bima. And each time the message is the same. We will not be erased. We will be counted, and we will count others with dignity, with memory, and faith. And so today, as we begin the book of Numbers, the book of Bamidbar, we lift our heads up. We remember those who were silenced. We confront hatred from outside and within. And we count every child, every soul, every name as sacred. May the names of the Benevenistis echo through your learning. May the marchers of Toronto feel the joy of standing for something eternal. May the memory of Sarah Milgram and Yaakov Leshinsky be a blessing. And may the two of you, B'nai Mitzvah cousins, always know that your Jewish identity is precious, is powerful, and part of something that neither history, nor hatred, nor time can ever erase. Shabbat Shalom.